Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. XRP whales are hoarding crypto like crazy right now, and we have some data to talk about later on in the video. We have a bit of other crypto news to talk about as well, and I want to go ahead and get started by taking a look at what's going on with Bitcoin's price chart here, because look at this. We had an absolutely horrendous day yesterday. It did dropped below $80,000 and closed below $80,000, actually around $79,100. And as of the time of recording this video, we're sitting below $78,000. But the good news is it is looking like we are starting to climb back up. There was a low point on the day at about $77,600. And as you can see when we zoom out here, the Fibonacci retracement zone, which is sitting here at about $78,100, it's essentially breaking down below this. It's testing it. It's pushed down a little bit. We have to see if it closes out. And as I mentioned in my other videos, when we look at these trends, you want ideally 3 days of closure to form a strong trend. 2 days it's a trend, but it's not much. So you want to look at 3 or more instances, and right now we are down below it, but there's an opportunity for this to still climb up. And if it manages to get back at about 78,000, say about $78,500, that's enough of a comfort zone where we're sitting pretty close to $79,000. It might have some wiggle room to drop back down to $78,100, and then we might see it consolidate for a bit, especially with us being here in the weekend. But ideally, we want to see this close in the above this zone, not necessarily in the green. I would love it if it's in the green, but just as long as it stays above $78,000 right here, $78,100, then that's an ideal scenario. And now just also zooming out a tad bit more, let's see how the Bollinger Band itself is doing. It's staying about the same amount of distance, and by that we're looking like we are consolidating here a tad bit. We're not seeing too much of a pinch. If things start to slow down, we might see that start to get a little bit more pinch there, and then more of an explosive wave. And we're also waiting to see what the next progress moves are, if we have any progress. The next moves that's going to happen between the United States and Iran. That's definitely going to play a big role with this. The new Fed chair and the decisions that they make, those will have rippling effects as well. And speaking of ripple, we'll also be looking at XRP's chart here at the later part of the video. And so with Bitcoin itself sitting just under $78,000, we are still in this territory where we're waiting to see if it can even manage to go back up to $100,000. We're over 3/4 of the way. So that is a good thing. But as it is right now, when you compare the price here to, say, let's go ahead and zoom back out, going all the way back over to April 9th of 2025, right around that time is when we saw an actual run up that took place. We did drop below this going back around February 1st, and that territory got really rough. I mean, we went all the way down here at around $60,000. We didn't see it go down to 50,000, thankfully. However, things can get very dramatic very quickly, and so a lot of people are watching this, and a lot of people are watching other parts of the market. Now let's go and move on to some big key elements in the news. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is sitting at 31, so we're actually seeing it drop down more. People are becoming more fearful. It's not super far down, but yes, people are fearful right now. And from Chad Steingraber, large account holders of XRP reach levels not seen since 2018. All the small holders are gone. This is touching on a little bit of those whale holders information I was talking about. Here you can see wallets with at least 10 million XRP hold 8-year high of over 45 billion coins. I have some more info on this a little bit later. And from Zive Crypto, 67 institutional holders in Bitwise XRP ETF, and almost all of them are new positions from the first quarter of this year. You have Merrick's Group, Kaleidoscope Capital, Refined Wealth Millennium Management. These are not retail guys. This ETF doesn't even show up on retail radar, yet institutions are loading in silence. I think a lot of people are optimistic about the Clarity Act, and if that does fully get passed, right now it's over in the Senate, then a lot of people are going to be more optimistic about the crypto market in general. They'll feel safer with this and more likely to put funds into different investments. And now from Steingraber as well. Italy's largest bank, Intesa Sanpaolo, is buying XRP ETFs. Grayscale GXRP. Intesa Sanpaolo is the largest banking group in Italy and a major European financial institution formed in 2007 from the merger of Banca Intesa and Sanpaolo IMI. Serving approximately 14 million customers, it operates extensively across retail, corporate, and wealth management sectors. Wealth management, dedicated services for asset management, financial planning, and private banking through Intesa Sanpaolo Private Banking. And also corporate and investment, international support for business growth, trade finance, and corporate banking via IMI corporate and investment banking, over 2,600 branches within Italy, and a broad international footprint across Central, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, as well as North Africa. And looking at Law Day 299, pushing closer and closer to a year here, Citadel Advisors, the investment firm of the larger Citadel hedge fund, is actively dealing with Canary XRP ETF. Generally considered the largest hedge fund in the world, is covering across all XRP ETFs and Evernorth. From Ripple's own account, they say, we're building the swell 2026 speaker lineup. Here's who will take the stage in New York City. Institution, the thought leaders shaping regulation, products, and global financial infrastructure. Ecosystem, the builders deploying on the XRP ledger right now. Innovation, the bold thinkers pushing finance into new territory. Find your track and apply by May 29th, and they provide a link over to ripple.com. And Whale Insider, ETF clients buy $10.87 million worth of XRP, bringing total ETF held net assets to $1.18 billion. From Rippleziety, Royal Bank of Canada now has indirect XRP exposure through the Bitwise XRP ETF. Whales, now here's the big news, okay? Whales now hold roughly $70 billion worth of XRP. So according to data from Santiment, wallets holding more than 10 million of Ripple's XRP token now hold a collective 45.85 billion tokens. That's worth around $68.5 billion. This equates to nearly 70% of the asset supply and is the most such wallets have held since as far back as 2018. Something big is going on in the XRP ecosystem. If the institutions are hoarding so much of the XRP, you guys need to understand, if retail really starts to flood in here, there's not exactly much supply left for them to be able to get into, and so supply and demand, that could potentially cause a huge price spike. But be careful with those institutions holding so much. Those whales are going to cause big ripple waves. No pun intended. And from bull theory, let's look at the data here. If you invested $10,000 in the following assets on the day that Donald Trump took office as president, this is how much your investment would be worth today. So if we look at silver, it would actually be up. Almost all of these are up. You have silver at $25,000, gold $16,000, NASDAQ $13,000, S&P 500 $12,000, Russell 2,000, $12,000. But here's the kicker: Bitcoin at $7,000, about $7,600. So yes, the stock market has gone up since the start of the presidency. Gold and silver are up. Bitcoin is actually down. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with XRP's price. So we did close out in the red yesterday on the new day while we're recording the video. You can see that we did dip just a little bit below that Fibonacci zone at about $1.39.5, and just under $1.40 is where we have the Fibonacci zone. So it dipped slightly below that, came back up. Right now we're sitting closer to $1.41. And we also go ahead and zoom out just a tad bit more here. You guys can go ahead and take a look at this. We are seeing pretty consistently a pattern formation here of this channel, this sideways consolidation right here. It's been going on here ideally since around February 7th. We had that big spike up the day before, and then essentially just moving within this channel right here and waiting to see if it can break above this triangle. Because we just go ahead and draw this right here. You guys can see we have the top points, and it's only 2 instances. This was really close. If you want to call this an irregularity, got to slow down with my talking a little bit, then it looks a little bit more appropriate like this. Right here we have February 15th, March 17th, and May 15th, all pretty consistent within that 30-day interval period as well. So it's very interesting with that. And then we go ahead and form our bottom. And right down here, ideally we've got 2 points. Can even make it a little bit tighter. Yeah, I feel more comfortable with this. We go ahead and zoom in. We have an instance on April 5th, April 29th, May 8th, and then the new day formation, which is following pretty consistently with that. So if this breaks down below, it's not going to be great. As it is right now, though, we have that potential to make a run up. As this gets tighter and tighter, we just go ahead and extend this out right here. We might be seeing something moving around the middle of June if this does consolidate for an extended period of time, and that could be potentially a breakout there. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see something happen before then. And that's what I got. You guys, I do have a referral link for the crypto exchange BTCC. I have this down in the description below. This exchange has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage. There's no VPN or KYC. And there's a deposit bonus. You get 10% deposit bonus if you do over $500. If you want to research this more, if you want to get started, you can find that down in the description below. And thank you very much to my Patreon supporters, my YouTube members. God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.